Yo, 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 what's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Straight Talk TV. Thank y'all for tuning in with me. If you haven't already, do me a big, big solid. Hit that subscribe button for me, y'all. Tap that little bell notification icon so you get notified with all the latest content, updates, and information from me, Straight Talk TV. Yay, yay. And let's jump right into this, y'all. We got YFN Lucci, you know what I mean? He was in court today, and YFN Lucci took a plea deal. He pled guilty to, you know what I'm saying, his charges, and they gave him a 20-year sentence. But YFN Lucci will be home in about 3.5 months. how how does a person get a 20-year sentence but will be home in 3.5 months? Let's jump right into this. First, let's check out YFN Lucci in court today. And we're gonna go from there. So let's check this out.
Yes, sir. All right, we're ready to swear in the defendant at this time.
Yes, sir.
Let me get a Deputy Green to swear in.
Swear for testimony, shake this to the course of truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
State your name, spell for the court.
They swearing
Ray
in me
Sean Bennett.
now. Gotta raise the right hand first.
RAYSHAWBENNETT.
Gonna raise the
All
right
right,
hand.
at this time, Mr. Bennett, Assistant District Attorney Christian has questions for you.
For
Please
real. He
speak
always
loudly and
takes me
clearly
to
into the
court.
microphone in response
It
to
sucks
your
having to go to
questions.
court, be
Ms.
in court.
Christian, the witness is with you.
It's never a good feeling. I'm telling you.
Are
You
you
don't
at
want to
this
be in
time
court.
under the
You don't have
influence
to
of any
be.
alcohol,
Don't be.
drugs, or any medicine?
No, ma'am.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you haven't been given today?
No, ma'am.
How old are you?
And these
32.
questions they
How
ask
far did
you
you go in
always
school?
so asinine.
I got my
Tell you.
GED.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you're charged with the following offenses under indictment 23 SC 188921? Count 1, violation of the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organization Act, which carries a minimum sentence of 5 years, maximum of 20 years. Count 68, violation of the Street Gang Act, which carries a minimum 5 years, maximum 20 years. Count 69, violation of the Street Gang Act, that's minimum 5 years, minimum 20 years. Count 72, violation of the Street Gang Act, minimum 5 years, maximum 20 years. Count 73, violation of the Street Gang Act, minimum 5 years, maximum 20 years. Count 76, violation of the Street Gang Act, minimum 5 years, maximum 20 years. Count 77, felony murder, that's minimum life, maximum life without the possibility of parole. Count 78, aggravated assault, that's minimum 1 year, maximum 20 years in custody.
Now listen
Count
to
78, aggravated assault, count, that's
y'all. Listen to all these charges and the amount of time that these charges range from. Like, this is what I don't understand about the American justice system or the American courts. When y'all talking about these time frames for these sentences and stuff like that, y'all do realize y'all not talking about like uh you know, fake years, or you're not talking about days, right? Like, some of these time frames for some of these charges is just outrageous. Like, y'all do realize y'all playing with people's lives, right? Like, y'all do realize y'all talking about years off of somebody's life, right? But I mean, I just want to say this. What more do you expect from a country that was founded on slavery? What more can you expect from a country that if they lock you up and incarcerate you, they can turn you back into a slave? Y'all do realize slavery in the United States is still legal. It's called incarceration. And long as they have you incarcerated, they can turn you in, or they can make you a slave. And the United States, which is a country that was founded on slavery, prides itself on taking every and any opportunity they can to turn as many citizens as they can back into slavery. That's why, you know what I'm saying, the judicial system and the penitentiary system in the United States is the number one business of this country. Y'all do realize the penitentiary system in the United States of America makes more money than any other institution. Let that sink in.
Minimum 1 year, maximum 20 year. Count 80, aggravated assault, minimum 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 81, aggravated assault, the minimum's 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 82, aggravated assault, the minimum's 1 year, maximum 20 years. Count 83,
Good
possession of a
Lord.
firearm during commission of a felony, that's 5 years consecutive. The minimum is life with the possibility of parole followed by 5 years consecutive, and the maximum you're facing under these charges in the indictment would have been life without the possibility of parole plus 220 years followed by 5 years consecutive. Do you understand that that's what you were initially charged with in the indictment?
Yes.
Do you
Golly.
understand that the state has agreed to no pros?
And then another thing I want people to understand about the American justice system. They hit you with all of these charges, I'm talking about multiple charges. You know what I mean? And when you dealing with the court systems or you waiting to go to court, you looking at it like, dang, I'm facing all of these charges. I'm facing all of this time. That is why these prosecutors get so many plea agreements accomplished, and like I think it's like 90 something percent of judicial cases in the United States end in plea deals because the defendants don't want to take it to trial because they facing so many preposterous charges. And if you get found guilty on those charges, you're gone for a long time. Y'all just don't know, man. Y'all just don't know how many innocent people in this country take plea deals and plead guilty to something just so they don't have to go to trial and face all of those charges. And then people always be like, oh, well, why did you take it to trial and fight it? You be the dummy and take that shit to trial and try to fight it and then wind up losing, and then there goes your life. Because you got to think, when they deciding if you guilty or innocent, this process is not scientific. Your guilt or innocent is depends on the opinion of 12 people who you do not know. So if you facing a whole lot of charges and a whole lot of time, you're not gonna want to go to trial and let your life and your freedom be dependent upon 12 people who don't care about you, don't know you. Like, that's why so many plea deals is struck and reached in this country. I just wanted to point that out.
Counts 1, 68, 72, 73, 60, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, and 83.
Yes.
So, Ms. Christian, the only charge under this recommendation is count 69, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, excuse me.
Have you reviewed this charge with your attorney and been advised of the minimum and maximum for the one charge that you're pleading to?
Yes.
And do you understand that you have the right to either plead guilty or not guilty to this charge? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
Yes.
Y'all hear that? If he pleads not guilty or no contest, he's going to have to go to a jury trial. Like I just said, you're going to let the fate of your life be dependent upon 12 people you don't know. They don't know you, don't care about you, don't want to be there in court. So they probably not really paying attention to the details of your case, and they sure ain't listen to you or your lawyer sit up there and talk about how innocent you is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For real.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorneys, Mr. Finland and Mr. Banks, about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges, including any potential defenses?
Yes.
Do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
Are you satisfied with their services?
Yes.
Do you waive a formal reading of the indictment, Mr. Fenlon?
Yes.
Do you waive any or all defects in the indictment?
And y'all, this is YFN Lucci speaking right here. You know what I'm saying? You see him right there on the screen. That's YFN Lucci, and he's agreeing to take the plea deal. And we're gonna get to what comes out of the plea deal in a little bit. But yeah, that's YFN Lucci agreeing to take the plea deal.
Yes.
Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea, which means the state will recommend a sentence of, under count 69, the recommended sentence is 20, serve 10, balance probated, and the special conditions of probationers are no street gang activity, no contact with any known street gang members or associates, no contact with the co-defendants, Reginald Carter, Artez Carter, Justin Ushery, DeMonte Thomas, Tadrekus Glass, Rayvon Boyd, Leroy Pitts, Rondavius Hawkins, and Derek Adams. No guns or replica guns. No gang affiliation or conduct associated with gangs on social media. You must be gainfully employed and no further violations of the law. Do you understand that those are the conditions?
Yes.
And Ms. Christian, I just wanted to make sure that the record is clear. You said this was a negotiated plea. This is a negotiated recommendation, but it's officially and formally a blind plea. Just want to make sure the record is clear.
Yes, Judge.
Y'all hear the judge have to come in and clear that up. That's a blind plea deal. They didn't negotiate nothing. Do y'all think a defense attorney sat down and actually negotiated the terms of this plea deal? Really? No, I guarantee you he didn't. This was not a negotiated plea deal. This was a blind plea deal. A blind plea deal. The judge caught that also. There's no
Do
such
you
thing as
understand
justice in America.
that those are the statutory conditions of your
Yes.
session? Do you also understand that you are to have no violations of state or federal laws while serving out any portion of your sentence, to include any period of incarceration, to comply with all the rules maintained by county jail where you're housed, prior to being transported to any facility within the Department of Corrections where you're designated to serve out your sentence, comply with all the rules maintained by any facility within the Department of Corrections where you are designated to serve out the remaining sentence. You waive a right to appeal any and all terms and conditions of this plea agreement and the sentence imposed, as well as any right possessed in connection with OCGA 244410.
And that's something they always put in these plea agreements where they put in there you waive your right to appeal. If an appeal is part of the American justice process, why would you then take away somebody's, you know what I'm saying, right to appeal? Why would you handicap somebody under the Justice Department? They know these plea agreements that they trying to make people take or they trying to get people to take are not like on the up and up. They don't want you to later figure out, oh shoot, I got screwed in this plea deal. Let me appeal this and you know what I'm saying, get proper justice. No, they don't want you to get proper justice. That's why they take away your right to appeal these bogus plea agreements.
And if you violate any of the special conditions, that the state is free to revoke the sentence and recommend any penalty allowable under the law, including that you be sentenced to the maximum for the charge in which you plead guilty.
Yes.
Do you understand that in exchange for this plea, the state has agreed to write a letter to the Board of Pardons and Parole stating that the state would not object to the defendant being released from the Department of Carcerations the first time you become eligible, or after 1/3 of the sentence has been served, whichever comes first, and you must comply with all lawful authorities of law enforcement while in custody and have no further incidents from the date of this plea in any penal institution.
Yes.
Okay, and that brings me to how he got 20 years, but he's gonna have to do um 3.5 more months. Now let's get to that. First of all, he got 20 years, right? 10 years of the 20 years is supposed to be, you know, locked up, and the other 10 years he's gonna serve on probation. And out of the 10 years that out of the 10 years that he's been locked up, he's already served almost three. You know what I mean? And anybody that knows anything about like being locked up and stuff, sometime one day might count for 2 days, or one day might count for 3 days while you locked up. So if you serve one day, depending on what kind of good time they give you, you might get 2 days or you might get 3 days. So he only has to serve up to 1/3 of the 10 years that he's supposed to be locked up, because he got a 20-year sentence, but half of that 20-year sentence he's going to serve on probation. The 10 years out of the 20, he's going to serve on probation, right? So that means that, out of the 10 years that he's supposed to be locked up, he only has to serve 1/3 of that. And he's already been locked up for almost 3 years. So that knocks out the 1/3. So when 3.5 more months are up, he's going to get out and start serving his probation. So that's how he got a 20-year sentence, but he's going to be home in 3.5 more months. And y'all heard the prosecutor say they're writing a letter for the parole board that recommends he get let out on the first time he's eligible to get out. So there you have it, folks. That's how he got a 20-year sentence, but he'll be home in 3.5 more months. You know what I mean? Shout out to YFN Lucci. He didn't go in there and snitch on nobody. He didn't tell on nobody. He went in there, took his charges, took his plea deal. And y'all notice one thing that might go over a lot of people's head. In his plea agreement, he didn't have to throw any of his co-defendants under the bus. He didn't have to testify against none of his co-defendants in his plea deal. You know what I'm saying? So he went in there on some stand-up shit. He took his plea deal. He took his, took his charges, and he'll be home in 3.5 more months. You know what I mean? And that's what happened today during the YFN Lucci trial today, folks. You know what I'm saying? In a little bit, before you can say lickety split, he'll be home. You know what I'm saying? Back with his family, and I'm quite sure that they would love and appreciate that. Y'all hit the comment section down below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. And if you haven't already, do me a big solid. Hit that subscribe button for me, y'all. Tap that little bell notification icon so you get notified with the latest content, updates, and information from me, Straight Talk TV. Hit that like button, that YouTube know you rocking with this your content. And I will catch you guys on the next go round. Straight Talk is out.